Hey there folks, it's Pliskin by 51mm. Today I figured I finally ought to do my overview on my K-bar knife. Now, as I said before, I misspoke when I made my original video a few weeks back. This is not going to be a review. This is going to be an overview of my knife. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you all my experience with this one, with the traditional USMC fighting knife, my overall experience with it, and my pros and cons. So anyway, also I'm wearing my new GI wool gloves. They're nice. I'll do an individual video on them later. Alright, so I've had this knife for exactly 5 years now. Well, more 4 years. It'd probably be 5 this December. I can't really tell. I've lost track of the time. But in that time, this knife has proved itself over and over again in my collection. But the only one really rivaling it in terms of functionality and durability being the Tonto Point M1, or not M1, Tonto Point USMC K-bar, or not K-bar knife, combat knife. Tongue twisted. But that being about the only one in my collection that's rivaled the quality and durability of this knife. I've used this knife for everything from clearing brush to opening packages to cutting down small trees. You name it, I've used it. Carving pumpkins for shooting. I've used it for all sorts of stuff, big and small, and it's held up fine over the 5 years that I've owned it. Of course, there is some wear. It's not much, but that's to be expected. The coating will rub off with time, and it's still dirty in some places. Yep, got some wear on the other side, not much as much as the other. It's made out of some very good steel. I think it's 1095 carbon steel. Very nice knife, very tough, very strong. The pros for it is it will maintain an edge like no tomorrow. The only reason I ever sharpen it is after it gets used quite extensively. I'm talking like a lot of use out in the field, like cutting down trees and, well, small trees, but clearing out paths and cutting brush and stuff of that nature. It will get a little dull, so I just kind of touch it up every now and then, but I don't really need to. The only 2 times that I really got out and put the sharpening stone to this was when I made that how to sharpen a K-bar knife video. And those were the only real reasons I ever really sharpened it, was just to demonstrate how to sharpen a K-bar. It didn't really need it, but I gave you all a tutorial on how to get started and how to do it. I mean, it may have needed it a little bit. I don't ever really let it get to the point where it's so dull that it won't cut. I mean, it's still very razor sharp right now. But I will touch it up now every now and then when I see fit. When I feel like, you know, that's not as sharp as it needs to be, I need to touch it up with the stone outside in the garage, so it'll be as sharp as I want it to be. I don't necessarily need to do it, but I do it just to make sure it stays in top condition and will be ready to cut when I need it to. Another pro of it is that it is very well constructed. There is no wiggle in the hilt. It is a full tang, runs all the way to the butt cap, pommel back here, and it's pinned in. Very nice grip. Even with these wool gloves, these don't have no dots or traction of any kind, but even with them on, I can still get a good grip on this knife for swinging. And it has just the appropriate amount of weight overall in the blade to get some force behind hacking. Very nice knife, very well made, as I said, tight fit and finish. That parkerized coating, I'm believing it's parkerized. It's a coating. I don't think it is parkerized, but it's a nice durable coating. It's taken it this long just for that to wear, this right in here. Now, I don't necessarily abuse the knife. There are other people on YouTube who have done torture tests on said knife on this model here. So I don't feel it necessary for me to go out and, you know, beat it up against brush and just give it the whole 9 yards. I know it's durable enough for when I do need to use it that it can take what I need it for and it'll still keep going. So I don't plan to do no torture tests on this. And that's been my kind of philosophy with this knife from day one, that I know it's tough. I mean, I can just feel that it's tough, and it's a very hard blade. And if I need to do something that's a little bit drastic and out of the norm, I'll use one of my cheaper ones that aren't so good, because I don't want to break this. This is my favorite knife. And I will put the cheaper knife through the ringer. Now, when I say cheap, I mean doesn't cost as much money. My Scout Recon Tonto knife, I can't ever remember the name for that. It's a Marine Corps knife. It says Marines on it. Doesn't mean it's a Marine Corps knife. Just like this one, this is a reproduction, not the real deal. Well, it is the real deal, but I mean this was never used by a Marine in World War II. This is a new production based on the original design. And I will put the one that didn't cost as much money and the one that I don't have as much nostalgia for up against what I need it for, and it'll handle it too. My K-bar is not my only good knife. It's a good knife, but I have others that will do the job just as good, but this one's my top one. So like I said, it's made of good metal, very sharp, doesn't get dull, very easy, and when it does get dull, I do touch it up. Nice fit and finish, everything's put together. It's full tang, runs the full length of the handle, and it's very well secured back here on the back. My cheapo one was not like that. It kind of rattles back there in the back, my cheap K-bar. And the leather handle, it allows a good grip. I can get a really good tight grip on this knife for when I do need to use it for harder work, if need be. And it's just an all-around good knife. Another good point is that the sheath, even though it's made in Mexico, is very, very durable. As you can see, it's been taken in and out of its sheath hundreds of times, and the sheath's seen its fair share of wear and exposure to the elements. I know this probably doesn't look like it's been through much to most people, but I've had this down in creek bottoms, I've dropped it in rivers, it's been drugged through the mud, and this old sheath still holds up very well to this day. Although when you first get it, it is kind of stiff. But after a while, as you can see, after a lot of use and wearing it, it gets flimsy, and it will contour to your body just fine. So the knife is very tough and durable, and the sheath that it comes in is very nice and durable. And that is a plus to most people, and me included. If I want a nice tough knife, I want the sheath that I carry it in to be very tough. And I've gotten a few knives in the past where the knife was very good quality, very good steel and everything, but the sheath doesn't hold up to the same standard and either withers away or tears up and needs to be modified to allow the knife to still be able to be carried in the sheath and it be safe to me or whoever wants to wear and use the knife that day. All in all, my opinion, overview of the USMC K-Bar knife by K-Bar. Now this is the real deal. Ole, New York K-Bar. Let's see if we can get it to focus there. Yep, Ole, New York. My overall opinion, assessment of it, is that it's a good knife for the money. Back 5 years ago I got this for around 60 bucks from Bud K, and it's held up ever since. Haven't had a problem with it. I see this current one in Bud K for going for about $80 now. This model here, USMC leather handle, leather sheath, going for about 80 bucks. Most of my pros are good. I have a lot of pros for this knife. The one con I will say that I have for it is its length. It's a little bit long, but that only really concerns me and probably others too, is if you are willing to carry this all the time in your pocket or something. So that's the only real downside to it that I have. Blade length wise, it's very big, but that length, that extra length of the blade helps it when it comes to tasks such as cutting brush or cutting down small trees to make firewood, which I've had to use it for that purpose before. Yep, it is an overall good knife, and I highly recommend one. When I finally do my final review, I will go into a little bit more detail on this knife in general and on K-Bar as a whole. This is my overview, and my opinion could change. I don't think it will. I've had this knife for 5 years. So that has been my overall overview of my K-Bar knife. I would highly suggest one to somebody. They're great. They're good knives. Very good knife. In fact, I like them so much, and I've had such a good time with them, that I got me another one. Yep. Say hello to the USN Mark I K-Bar knife. I'll be doing a video of this shortly. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all in the very next video.